Welcome back, Syndicate members. Tonight we have a special interview. Chris O'Hara from Bentbox Comics. And if you remember, I interviewed him, I believe that was at Charlie's EpicCon. And then I saw you at SiestaCon, and man, you were slinging some books that day. Because I came past your booth a couple times and you were busy every single time. And so you hit me up recently and you were saying you had some new projects on the horizon. And I'm really interested to find out. I know the syndicate members are interested to find out. So tell us a little bit about what Bentbox has going on right now.
Yeah, thanks Josh for, bringing me on. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I mean it's been fun it was fun meeting you at Charlie's EpicCon, and then I saw you again. I made sure to I waved. I was like, "Oh, I know that face." Sometimes I don't register faces, but to be completely honest, your face is hard to forget. Especially the outfit, the whole getup. You got this persona. It's perfect. But Bentbox is kind of my creation. My name's Chris. I own the company. It's just a small press publisher, is what the type of business is. I myself am a creator. I am a author, and I do some lettering work and graphic design. Um, but yeah, so Bentbox started as basically I just needed a brand to publish my books under. I wasn't super interested in going mainstream. I really enjoy having complete creative control and timing and input, and I don't really feel like other people having input. So, as a lot of indies do and feel. So, created Bentbox and kind of just grew from there. With my own books, I began to reach out to other really talented creators. John Shell was one of them with his books, which you did a very awesome review of for Wingless. That meant a lot to us, and it was you had some really good words for us, and the issue two is coming out soon. Uh, and then we have a bunch of other creators who have joined under Bentbox, and what that kind of ended up turning into was Bentbox began to grow. So now it's only been 2 years, and I think we have 13 titles in our library. And to be completely honest, they're all bangers. They're all really good. At least, that's a very biased statement, but I think they're all very good. And one of the other reasons why I wanted to create Bentbox was um, there's a lot of issues with the indie community where, and I'm sure a lot of your fans and other indies would recognize a lot of this, but it's kind of hard to make it as an indie. So I figured it'd be maybe interesting to create something that would almost work as like a syndicate. I might steal that. Maybe it's an indie syndicate, but it's kind of a collective of indie creators where we just work together. And the cool thing is if someone reads Artificial, my book, which is my first book I ever wrote, if someone reads Artificial, oh, we might have a
Got it right here, bro, with your signature right there.
if someone reads that beautiful, beautiful book, then which we've actually had this happen before, so it's working. If someone reads that, a lot of times I get a message or another buyer that says, "Hey, I just read Artificial. I need to read the rest of your books from Bentbox." Specifically, just because they understand that if it's from Bentbox, that means it's high quality, and that right there is hard to put a price on. So like that's something that we've been trying to build, and I think we've got there. Yeah, so that's where Bentbox is currently. And then myself as a creator, I figured I'd reach out to Josh and you lovely folks watching and tell you about my cool new project. I got a new book coming out because once again, I'm also a creator.
And so when I was talking to you at Charlie's, your creators actually span the globe. They're not just primarily in, even though you do have a lot of American artists as
Yeah.
well, but you have a lot of them from all over. How do you meet some of these people?
So, I mean, yeah, that's so I have majority of our artists are from Brazil. We have a couple from Mexico, a couple from Portugal, one from the Philippines, actually two from the Philippines now because I'm working with another one on a manga, which is going really well. We're very busy. We have a guy from Israel who's insanely talented and he is blowing up, and I am just so happy I found him when I did and like made a connection. Now he's like all in on Bentbox and he's bringing this epic saga to Bentbox. His name's Roy Schroyer. Highly recommend going and checking him out. But yeah, so we work with people all around the globe. And I mean, a lot of it just comes. So my Twitter feed, Instagram feed, and threads and everything, all the all the plethora of social medias that we all have to keep track of is just filled with artists. That's what I do. I love art and I love finding new artists. I love finding original artists. I'm notorious for sorting based on follower counts with the lowest starting. I want to find the person that's never done a comic book before. I want to find the person that has talent, has promise, has it, but has never had a chance. That's the person I want to work with. So that's what a lot of the artists that we've worked with, that's how I find them, is I just scour, I go hunting basically. And it's fun because some of them don't even speak English. The one I'm working with this current project, Refuge, which we will reveal soon, he's from Brazil, doesn't speak English. So I have to have a translator. I'm actually learning Portuguese to kind of help with that process. But it's fun. I love talking to people. I'm a huge extrovert, and it's just really cool meeting someone from Israel and then Brazil and then Mexico when there's no way I would have done that pre-internet, Zoom, all this cool stuff.
Yeah, that's so interesting too, because I feel like that really probably wouldn't be possible otherwise. And yeah, I have a lot of your other work here because this is the one I'm reading currently, Heathen. Yeah, this I'm really digging this book. Um,
Cool.
and I'm really interested in the new project though. So you were saying this one you were going to have like a crowdfunding going on for it.
Yeah. Yeah. So typically in the indie space, so as much as I would love to say we are a small press publisher like Mad Cave or even Image technically is an independent publisher, we are not. We are the most indie of indies. All of the creators within Bentbox do Kickstarter, Indiegogo, Fund My Comic. We don't really care. Whatever gets your book out in the world, we don't care. Um, but that's just because, yeah, I mean, we don't have $1 million backing or anything like that. It's just me in my home office running a company, meeting with people all around the world. It's a lot of fun, but it's a grind, and that includes our current Kickstarter, which is for a project that I'm so excited about, and I'm praying comes to fruition. But a lot of Bentbox projects are literally brought to life because of you, the readers, fans, indie fans, everything like that. We need you. So yeah, it's on Kickstarter.
Well, I think that sometimes that's kind of a necessity for indies, because you're definitely not alone in using crowdfunding for stuff like this. And I've personally given my money to dozens of projects that I felt were really good. And sometimes the indies do need a little bit of help there. They don't have the Disney money, and to be perfectly honest, even with all of that Disney money, they're not exactly pumping out anything I'd want to read anyway.
True.
Yeah, so I feel like if it's a worthy project, yeah, I'm gonna put a few bucks up there and help them out. Solely because hey, maybe one day I'm gonna need some help,
For
and
sure.
you know that's just the way it is. Plus, to be perfectly honest, printing is expensive.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
especially when you want it to be a good quality work, quality paper, quality printing. And I know I can tell you from, reading Ben Box's products and having that product in my hand that you guys don't go cheap on the process for sure.
No, we probably should, but but we don't, and that's because I'm a big tactile person. I'm an old school guy who, yes, I have them on my phone. I read digital comics, but I prefer to have the physical book in my hand, and that includes like you could just feel quality when you have it in your hand. And so I made sure. The fun thing is that and I also don't do anything without research. So like I'm all in. I'm hooked up with a local printer that's nearby my house called Comic Impressions. They do a ton of work with indies, and they're very knowledgeable and helpful. And I've really enjoyed working with them. But I don't just go, hey, Comic Impressions, I have a book. Let's go ahead. I want to try you out. I just drove down because their operation's not that far. Drove down, met Rich. He literally gave me a full just walkthrough of their entire operation, and I was just sitting there going like I might want to print comics, and that was all it is. but it was still something that I was like, oh, this guy understands comics. He understands the layout, the format, the quality that's needed. And so I can trust him with my prints. And that's why I went through all the effort of like going down and meeting the printer. So like that's the kind of stuff I like to do. I'm a little more old school that way. But yeah, I appreciate that. You know, we don't do anything less than quality.
Yeah, you could definitely tell that. So let's talk about the new project. What's it called? What's the name of it?
So the new project is called Refuge. That's the name of the series. And then the current Kickstarter is Refuge Chapter 1. So it's the first installment at the beginning of the series, and it's going to be either a 4 or 5 part series, depending on how many shenanigans I want the characters to get into. That's one of the beautiful things about being indie. I get to decide that,
Mhm.
but it is going to be a short, limited series with a definite end and everything already planned. But you know, you always have fun or time for fun. So, but yeah, I'm curious. Do you, are I can always share my screen. I don't know if you're interested in that to show the campaign and show images live on the video. I don't know if that's okay with you or.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, if you can do that from your side, or I need
Yeah,
to.
I can do that from my side. That way, maybe it makes it easier to kind of go through it because sometimes people will do it on their side and it's a little harder to track.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I will definitely do that. All right. Well, and then I act like I know what I'm doing, and then I take forever. Okay, here we go. Let me know if you can see this.
Yes, there we go.
All right, so this is Refuge Chapter 1 by Bentbox Comics, by myself. I'm the author. But it follows a young child soldier who escapes the cruelties of war. He's in a local civil war in his country, and as he escapes into this snow-capped mountain cave, he goes deeper and deeper into the darkness and is runs face to face with a terrifying figure. So, or presence, or however you want to say it. But yeah, so this is my little baby. This is a really cool book that I wrote not that long ago. I collaborated with an artist named Lucas Jensenn, which we can look at that in a minute. But I'll just, if you don't mind, we can just go through it real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, that is that a shot from the comic? Is that a
Yeah,
like?
so that's typically how I make my Kickstarter campaigns. Is I always take, you know, we make sure we have preview pages, and then I make little banners out of the preview pages just so that the art is constantly being shown off. That's kind of my goal because I'm a huge fan of art, and the artists deserve all the credit. So that's what I do. Um, but yeah, so like I put here, it's a 4 to 5 issue series. This is technically an all ages action adventure. And I mean that truly, this is for everyone. I've said that. I said that in a video today I recorded that I said it's technically aimed for young adults or young individuals or children. They can definitely grasp this, but it's more in the realm of like the Wild Robots or Monsters Inc. or something like that, where, you know, everyone can enjoy it. So I basically said it's all ages. So if you are an age, it is for you. It doesn't matter what that age is. But yeah, so let me show you some previews. So this is some of the stuff that Lucas Jensenn did, the artist who's from Brazil. He did a phenomenal job, you know, taking my script, bringing it to life on the page. He
Yeah,
very much
that was
captured like the
great.
innocence and the, yeah. And then as soon as I'm not showing you, I'll tell you one quick fun thing about it.
Oh man, that looks awesome.
He did such a good job with this. So I'm so excited. So if anyone's curious, you have not seen any letters or speech bubbles or anything. That's because this is a silent comic. I decided to write a book that had no speech bubbles, no narration, no lettering. Similar, if you're familiar with one of our other books, it's called Blossom by John Shell. Also doesn't have any lettering in it. And the reason why I did that was first to challenge myself, and secondly, because the reason I wrote this book is part of our Comics for a Cause initiative, which is a way for us to give back to people in need with comics. We'd rather make comics something that's a positive experience than actually giving it back to people in need. So this specific one was written for refugees, as it kind of lends itself to, with Refuge as the title. And one of the main reasons I did that was because this book, being silent, could be read by anyone. So if I want to send it to a child in Ukraine, a child in, anywhere, Africa, the South America, someone here in America, they could read this book and enjoy it just the same and experience it just the same without any translation issues or anything. So it's the barrier to entry got knocked out of the way when I made it a silent comic.
I see. Wow, that's really interesting. Yeah,
And it's a difficult thing to do.
oh, it was super difficult. Yeah, I remember you telling me about Blossom, and this is actually really interesting. Wow.
I appreciate it. So here are the covers. Let me know what you think of the covers. So cover A is by Lucas Jensenn. I'm a huge fan of the interior artist. Bentbox typically isn't known for its variant covers because sometimes it can be a bit of a bait and switch. You get a really cool variant cover and then the interior doesn't match and it doesn't look as good. And so we try to not use variants as much, but this one just lent itself to having some cool variants, and that's kind of the only reason. But the main one is by the interior artist Lucas Jensenn, which I'm a huge fan of. This one, I think it turned out great.
Yeah, this one.
Cover B.
Sorry.
Go ahead. I would love for you to comment.
I love this one because you just don't know what's going on here. You just see the main character. He's got his lighter. You see the eyes in the background. Scary. I like it.
A little mystery. That's what I was hoping for. Just a little mystery. And then cover B also implies a little mystery, but maybe shows a little more. But this is by Gabriel Fonseca, who is the artist for Artificial, one of our books, as well as Blossom. He did Blossom. But he's just such a phenomenal artist that I had to ask him to be a part of the project. So I asked him to do a variant cover. So this is cover B. Love how this turned out.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, I like how it's completely different from cover A because you got them outside.
Yes.
In the snow, you could see not just eyes, but now we have a silhouette. So yeah, this is great.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we wanted to definitely make it stand out. You don't want anything too similar with a variant. And then the final one, we only did 3 total covers. The final one is by a gentleman named Brian Middleton, who's out of Ohio. It's one of those match made in heaven situations where I found him on Instagram. He had like a bunch of images that were very like Calvin and Hobbesy. And I'm a huge fan of Calvin and Hobbes. It's a bit of a reason behind this book, or an inspiration behind this book too. It definitely captures the vibe of how the story is going to, progress, is that Calvin and Hobbes type relationship. So, it was just like, I definitely need you to do a cover for me in this style because it just fits the idea of the story. So, yeah, this is cover C. I love this one too. I love them all, honestly.
Yeah, and when I just think I couldn't like you anymore, then you had to bring Calvin and Hobbes into it. I have every single book in my living room.
So do I. I have all the books. I actually have them in my son's room. That way, in case he wants to read them. But I've grown up on them. My dad passed them down to me, and I passed them down to my son. Yeah. So basically, if you're a fan of Calvin and Hobbes, or Wild Robot, or Monsters Inc., or any of these classic, fun, fantastical adventures, you're gonna like Refuge, because that's where we kind of it sprung from. Yeah. And then
which one?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it'd just be hard to choose which one of those covers I like the best, though.
Well, I mean, you can get all 3. We make it easy for you.
Yeah, you know me. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, we got to make it easy for you. So the rewards, we also wanted to go very cheap on this and make it as low of a barrier to entry as possible for a lot of indies. Now, a lot of indies are priced high because of, as you mentioned, printing's expensive. So we decided to go a little lower on it. So the digital is what it is. It's not, nothing too cheap or too expensive, but it's just $4, $6 for the digital deluxe, which has a bunch of cool sketches and concept art and behind the scenes stuff.
Okay.
Cover A is just $8, and it comes with the digital deluxe PDF. Both variant covers are only $10. And then you can get the collector's bundle for 25. So you get 3 comics for 25 bucks.
That's the one right
So
there. Actually,
yeah. Well,
here?
we also have a monster bundle because why not? So we have some really cool add-ons, which I'll show you in a second, but this is basically everything campaign related in one small bundle. That way it's just easy for you to choose. Once again, everything comes with the digital deluxe, so you get all that cool stuff. But the add-ons that come with this are the sticker sheet, which Lucas did a fantastic job with this. Um, the poster pack, which is all 3 covers, and then a coloring book.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, I was really excited about this reward. This is one that basically I was just because it's a children's book by heart. It's a children's book, but once again, all ages. My thought was this would just be a really cool idea if, a parent wanted to get it for their son, or, you want to give it to, a grandchild, or however you go about it. But I was just imagining like you reading the book with your son, and he's coloring along with it and like coloring the pages his own way while you go through the page. So I just thought it'd be a really cool idea. So yeah.
I've never seen that before. I love this. That comes
Yeah.
with Monster Pack.
Yeah, so the Monster bundle is only $45, and it comes with 3 covers, the sticker sheet, all 3 posters, and the coloring book.
Man,
We try to make it reasonable, because
reasonable. That's like the starter pack right there, a Refuge starter pack. You need all 3 covers and the coloring book.
yeah,
I don't know why
I recommend it.
coloring book. I'm like, man, I want to get my hands on that.
Well, I mean, you can get the coloring book separate if you want. You can just get the $8 basic cover, and then the coloring book, I believe, is $6. I think that's how much I made it. I didn't make it very much. They're just between you and I and everyone else out there that's watching. They're not that expensive to print, so I don't need to be gouging for money here. It's more of a, here's something cool that I think you would enjoy.
Yeah, this is great.
I'm glad you like it. And then, so our stretch goals, this is something that's very unique and I'm very excited about. I don't think I'm going to have to worry about it because of our current momentum, but hey, maybe the Syndicate could, help out with that.
That's Syndicate members.
Oh, dude, I would put Syndicate approved sticker on the front of the cover. I'll tell you that, I'll put it right there on the front. So this right here is our stretch goal page. We're going to have it kind of interactive as we get closer to each goal. There's going to be footprints in the snow, and then the bags are going to open, and then it'll reveal what's inside. So we're really cool about how we design this. We're really excited about it. $5,000. So right now it's secret, but hey, I'll give you the scoop. $5,000 is basically just a higher quality print, and all the issues will be signed. So it's nothing crazy, but it's because that's only a little bit higher than the main goal. $8,000 is the one that is yet to have been done in any Kickstarter that I have seen. So our goal with $8,000 is right now, it only cost me about $3,500 to make this book. Now, only isn't exactly the word I would use because it's still a lot of money. But as a writer, I want to make sure my artist is paid well. He's so talented. He deserves all the money in the world. But it cost me $35,000, or $35,000, close, $3,500 to make it. If I get $8,000, there's no reason for me not to just make issue 2 because it's already written. It's already ready. The artist is already on board. So my thought is if we get to 8,000 as a stretch goal for this campaign, you will also get issue 2. So you'll get, yeah. So say you
I like the reasoning there too. Yeah, you already got.
It's only gonna. Yeah.
Artist is already on board. Just go ahead and bust it out.
Why not? I mean, the whole reason behind this is basically it's an investment to make what I want to make, and this really cool book that I'm very excited about. So I got to do it, and I'm not going to pocket any of this money. Trust me, none of it's getting pocketed. It's all going back into the project to make issue 2. So if I can just make issue 2, say you back it for $8 for just cover A, and we reach $8,000, you're getting issue 2 in the mail with your so 2 comics for $8. Not bad.
No, that's great.
But that's if we can get there. $10,000 so far has been a secret. I'll leak it to you. $10,000 is going to be a plushie of the creature.
Of the creature.
Yeah, of the beast, as we currently have him labeled. Yeah, so that one I'm not worried about hitting because it's such a lofty goal. But it'd be cool, get a plushie as well for your kids or for you, have it on your desk. I'm sure you like it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The team is just myself and Lucas. Lucas does all the art, inking, coloring, everything.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's very talented. He's a young kid. I think he's only 24. This is his first book he's ever done. So it's pretty exciting.
that is wow. For his first book, man, that art is amazing, and
Yeah.
his style is so good too.
It's
Man,
very unique and like kind of fun. That's why I chose him for sure. I was like, this matches my project perfectly. Um, and then as I teased up at the front, this is kind of the end. This is going to be part of our Comics for a Cause initiative. This is on our website. This is something that both Blossom and Wingless go towards. They support different charities and nonprofits that help kids all around the world. Blossom helps kids with the Smile Train Foundation with cleft lip and palate. Wingless goes towards Tiny Superheroes, which is this really cool organization that gives like capes to kids in the hospital. It's really cool. And it's just more fun, for the kids. And then this one, I chose World Vision. World Vision is a refugee organization that helps displaced children, primarily children. And so that's why I actually just got off a meeting with them today where they chose me as a proud supporter. They gave me this badge as Bentbox. Bentbox as a company is a proud supporter of World Vision. And yeah, so if you back this book and make it become a reality, you're going to help benefit a kid in need around the world.
that's so good. I love how you tie all of that in too. Um, you have these different funds that these go to for various books. Actually, I wasn't aware that Wingless did that. That's really interesting.
Yeah, I'm really proud of it, and it's one of our ways to kind of set Bentbox apart from other indie publishers. Yeah, and it's nice to give back, and we want to make sure that we can kind of support people in need with our art. The Bentbox promises here. It just says there's no AI. There's no AI at all. So don't worry about that. We love human artists. That's what we love. And then a quick little shipping thing, just about the we're only shipping to America. I'm sure, or to the United States. I'm sure, as you know, shipping costs have gotten outrageous. I was trying to figure out a way to ship to the UK, to Canada. I've had multiple packages stuck in customs, even though everything was correct, and it cost me $30 to get it there. It's just not worth shipping until we can figure out a good way to distribute, which is kind of the plan after it funds, is to find a way to get it to you physically if you're in the UK or in Australia. But until then, it's just not, unfortunately, it's just not possible.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you on that. I was actually setting up I was redoing my site, I should say, and when I was going through the shipping calculator, yeah, it all got dropped pretty much down to America at this point, for now anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to at some point, but it's just so much. And then the last thing I want to say is, we need $4,000. That's how much it costs to make this book. This is truly a crowdfunded book. All that art is going to, or all that money is obviously going to the artist and printing and shipping. Not a penny's going in my pocket. It's all just to make sure this book comes to life. And as you can tell, I'm not one to beg, but at the same time, it's been a very slow roll. There's a lot of competing campaigns right now, so it's a little hard to get eyes on it. But yeah, so we need some help basically, and
Well,
that's pretty much it.
I'll tell you this much that I personally love Bentbox. I love the work you put out. This one's definitely a solid hit for me. I love the art, and I will personally be donating to it. I suggest all the syndicate members out there to also, go ahead and throw some money to it too. I want that monster bundle really bad, so I think I'm gonna have to go for that one. But I would definitely recommend it because we got to support the indies because that's where all the really good stories are right now, and
Yeah.
the best stories and the best artists, that's where they are right now. So I would definitely recommend all the syndicate members to get on. So I'll put everything down below in the description. Make sure we try to get things rolling. in the right direction to meet that $4,000 mark for you.
I'd appreciate it. I call upon the syndicate.
So
You have been called upon.
we'll put it out there, and hopefully,
Yeah.
together.
Well, I mean, we only have 2. I'm keeping an eye on the time as well. I don't know if you are, but
Oh yeah, actually, I saw that ding up there a minute ago.
if you want to keep going, I'm down. If you have those questions, we can always just do a new interview. But if you're whatever you're interested in.
You know what? I do have a couple of questions that I did want to run by you. So let me log off and I'll shoot you another link and we'll finish up there.
Let's just make sure. I know sometimes it's wonky with the recording, so let's just make sure it saves.
Okay.
At least I've had issues with it, and I'm not very tech savvy.
I'm gonna stop and then I'll just shoot you a text.
Beautiful.
Part 2.
Beautiful. Yeah. I also, it's up to you. If, I was thinking of something. I have a free poster that is basically locked as a benefit to only people from different like supporter groups. So like you, the syndicate, and stuff like that. I basically make it only to where they can get it if they support. So I had a thought that I could offer that. Maybe I could show that towards the end as like a call to action and see if they would get a free poster if they and it's an exclusive poster. It's not one offered on the site.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Actually, speaking of posters, so you give out I know at your booth when people buy the comics, you let them pick out like posters that you have there.
Yeah.
Did you ever wonder what they do with those posters, or what happens to them? Because
I mean, yes, but
well, because I'm going to tell you. You remember I actually took the Van Gogh one. I think it was
yes,
Artist Health, and
yeah.
that's in my living room on the wall. I framed that bad boy.
There you go. I mean, I have to assume it's either going in a living room or above a toilet. It's one or the other. And you know, I'm fine with either. You know what I mean? I mean, I have one kid. His name's Thomas. Shout out to you, Thomas, if you end up watching this. But he's a really cool kid. I met him at SiestaCon. I gave him just all of our. He was so cool, and he's a young kid, and he's an artist and everything. I just gave him all of our posters, everything I had available, and he like let me know. He goes, "Dude, my whole right wall is just Bentbox posters." I was like, "Hey, man, cool."
That's
so
awesome.
Yeah.
I feel good when I see Mammoth Syndicate stuff up somewhere. I'm like, hey.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, people shouting you out and supporting you. There's nothing better, man.
And actually, I'll say that you didn't just you came out from around your booth and shook my hand at SiestaCon. Like you were even talking.
Of course.
You were like, hey, man, you can shake your hand there. So I appreciate that.
I like it. I'm more of an extrovert, and I know that. And the funny thing is, the behind the curtain with that is, if you're familiar with Comic-Cons, you either run into people who really appreciate it or people who really don't appreciate it, because you get the more introverted people. I've had many times where I'm like, just behind my booth, and I'll see someone's like, "Hey, how's it going?" And they go, and I just kind of like, "Whoops!" I was like, so they don't like it. So you literally have to. I've like gotten good at gauging people, which is fun. You look like someone who would have no problem with me saying hey, so I definitely made sure to say hey. Plus, I love Rob Zombie, so you know it was kind of a what's up.
You know, I'm definitely going for that Rob Zombie look. You know,
yeah.
I took a little weight because I was starting to look a little more like Gandalf there for a little bit.
Both cool. Like, I mean, you can't go wrong with either. You're fine.
So I kind of wanted to know, because since you have a lot of different artists and creators, how do you go about greenlighting certain projects that you personally don't actually write or are involved with?
That's a good question. So I kind of lean on my I have a good eye. I've been told, and I kind of lean on it, that I have a good eye for quality. Like, I just know something that's cool or interesting or unique, and so I run with that. I try not to shy away from that. So if I see something online, typically it comes in the form of, a creator or an artist or a writer post something that's like, here's a work in progress of a book I'm looking to try and do, and here's like a quick synopsis. And if it piques my interest, I reach out immediately. So like I very quickly, so far it's mainly headhunting by myself. I find someone like right now I'm in talks with a gentleman named Dave Schwartz. He's extremely talented. He's an artist and writer. He's creating a book or a series called Confederate Monster, and it's just so cool. And it was one of those ones where I saw the page and I just knew I had to reach out to this guy. And I was like, this first off would fit perfectly with Bentbox. Secondly, it's just awesome. So like I'm just very interested in the project itself. But yeah, I mean, I'm very attracted to art. A lot of people, you know, are like that, where typically with a comic book, your story is cool and all, but that cover image needs to hit. That's what sells the book for the most part, especially if someone who has no idea who you are, what the book's about, anything. You need to be able to just hit with that cover image, the art. You know, if you offer 2 or 3 pages inside as a preview, it needs to be something intriguing, you know, high quality. So that's typically what I look for is the art. The story, I also want to be high quality, but as a writer, and I'm not trying to sound cocky by any means, because it becomes more of a collaborative effort. I feel that, you know, as long as the other artist doesn't mind, I was like, we'll punch up a script, we'll make this story good. Two heads are better than one. He has full creative liberty, he or she, whoever the artist or the writer is. But you know, I just want to basically, once again, my whole goal is with Bentbox, if you see that logo, you know the inside's going to be good. And so far that is you know, consistent.
Oh, I definitely agree. So, so these books, they're not fully completed when they come to you. These are just basically projects that people want to do that they're kind of running by you.
Yeah. Sometimes, every once in a while, we'll find one like Dave Schwartz, specifically, I'll mention him again. He's already had 4 issues complete of Confederate Monster. So he's a more of a special situation where I can see it. Like, oh, okay, you have the story down, the art's amazing. You know, I'm very interested in this project. It would fit beautifully under Bentbox. So like that's an easier one. But yeah, I recently had an interview, or not an interview, sorry, just a discussion, a little sit down with a writer named Ryan. He actually hit me up on TikTok, and he's a first time writer, and he just said, hey, I'm interested in making a comic book. Would you mind sitting down with me and talking to me about it? And I love talking shop, and meeting new people is just fun. You know, it's a better way to spend an afternoon. So I just jumped on a Discord call with him for about an hour and a half. He pitched me on his book. I love the idea. I told him his art, the artist he picked, just, I was like, I'm going to give you an honest opinion. It's not high quality. It's very cheap webtoonsy. And I was like, it's not bad, but it's just not, you know, it's not something I would be comfortable putting Bentbox on. And I'm like, and if you would like to Bentbox with me, then we need to look into that. And so right now we're shopping around for different artists for his stories. So that's going to be a really cool, hopefully a collaboration with him. But yeah, I'm interested in everything. You know, if you're a creator with passion and quality, and you know, you show that you know your stuff, or you show that you are curious and you want to learn, I'm more than happy to sit down for an hour and a half and just chat. So I'm interested in everything, anything and everything for the most part. So full completed projects, you don't even have a single page of art. You just have the script. That's cool. You just have the idea. Okay, let's work with it. Let's see if we can make something out of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because yeah, the comics that I've produced, they're pretty silly, but you know,
yeah,
people seem to like them. But you know, that's kind of my wheelhouse, the silliness. So
that's good. I mean, that's the one of the funny things is like I'm a very carefree, silly. You know, don't ask me to keep a straight face; it's impossible kind of guy. The majority of my books, even though a lot of them do have comedy involved, almost all of them have some form of like darkness to them, so they're not necessarily silly. That said, I actually specifically wrote a recent story that's currently in the works by Roy Stroyer that is specifically silly. And that's because I'm like, I've never done that before. I need to just break up all this death and destruction and you know, stuff going on in the world with something just carefree and goofy. So I'm starting that now. We'll see how it goes.
I kind of enjoy the goofy story. My buddy Paulo, he's working on some stuff that it's more of a serious nature.
Yeah.
I'll probably end up, if he wants me to, I'll end up helping him do some of the pencils on that. But
Cool.
I try to keep my stuff really light and fun. But Drop a City is really probably not really all that light or maybe fun, but it's definitely not light. But my Kung Fruit stuff is really uh, silly, and then should be publishing a new one here within the next month or two. So
Cool.
I'll let you know. I'll get an issue in your hands. Oh, actually, speaking of, are you going to be at any cons coming up?
I'm going to be at the one in Cape Coral next Saturday. I don't know if you're going to be at that one. It's probably pretty far from you. Uh, and then unfortunately, there was one up in Punta Gorda that just got canceled. I was bummed out by that. But yeah, we're maybe another one soon. We actually run our own. We actually just got into the business of running our own cons, which has been a lot of fun. It's hosted at Dave and Buster's. It's called Con at the Arcade.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we did our first one in April. Went very well. It went so well that we did it in the little like conference room, which isn't very big. It's meant specifically for corporate events and just like get-togethers and luncheons and stuff like that. But we were still able to fit like I think 20 vendors in there, and it went very well, and it was pretty consistently busy. I did better there with Bentbox, the Bentbox booth, than I've done at almost any other con recently, and I was barely at my booth. I was running the con. So that right there shows it went pretty well, and I was very happy with it. The general manager was so happy with it that she asked if we could make it bigger. So she wants to dedicate a whole dining room section to the Comic Con. And so now it's going to be like triple the size. Anyway, so that's going to be really cool. We might do that in October, but another con at the arcade down in Fort Myers. So if any watchers are in Fort Myers, hopefully keep an eye out for that. It should be pretty fun.
That does sound fun. I actually I've been enjoying the smaller cons. Um,
Definitely.
anyway, I feel like I meet a lot more indie artists there, and you actually have time to discuss stuff too. Unlike the bigger cons,
Yeah.
I always feel like I'm kind of being pushed out of the way because they're just so.
Well, I mean, just to be honest, at a bigger con, it cost me, $1,000, $1,200 to get this table, and right now, the only thing I'm doing is trying to make that money back. So that's just the unfortunate thing. That's why I do like the smaller cons. Smaller table cost. It's a little more carefree. It's a little more like, hey, personable. We can just chat. I just like that more anyway.
Definitely. Yeah, because we had a good chat at Charlie's.
Yeah.
Oh, that man, I wasn't expecting that one to be as actually as big and as live as it was, but that one was pretty cool. I kind of enjoyed that one.
It was a good one. He has good cons, and he does a good job of getting good celebrities come through that are pretty cool. And like he did one that had Ming Chen from like a Secret Stash and all that stuff. So that was really cool meeting him. So yeah, Charlie does great. So I highly recommend going to Charlie's cons for sure.
So, all right. Well, is there anything else that you want to add, Chris?
So I unless you want to, maybe we can just cut it. I don't know if you want to splice it at all, but regardless, one thing I do want to say is at the very end, for all of you Syndicate members, I have a special call to action for you if you're interested. If you back Refuge Chapter 1, any physical copy, I would like to offer you a free poster, an exclusive poster that is not technically available anywhere else. So, and I will give you that teaser right now if you're interested in seeing it. Here, let me show you. It's one of my favorite images that we've made so far. Let me know if you see it.
Oh, wow. That is awesome.
So this poster by Lucas Jensen, the interior artist, is an exclusive Kickstarter kind of reward for only people that I choose. So for the syndicates out there, the syndicate members, if you back my book, and then in the comment section, and if you want, I'll make it easy for you to really show you, because some people don't really know where that is. I'll show you right where that is. Oops, well, I went away from it. Here you go. So if you go right here, let me know when you see it.
Yep, there it goes.
So if you go to that campaign, you make sure to back one of these awesome physical rewards. Anyone, it can be the $8 one, it could be the $45 one, doesn't matter. And you go to comments. If you go ahead and comment Syndicate, I'll know that you came from the coolest group around in Florida, and I will make sure to give you a copy of that poster with your physical reward. So
That's awesome.
please, Syndicate members, I really appreciate it, but we need all the love and support we can get, and I want to make this as backer friendly as possible. We're here to entertain and give you some goodies. So yeah, comment Syndicate, get a physical copy.
Oh, for sure. I'm all in. Syndicate members, it's time, man. Let's do it. Let's get them up to that number. And I really appreciate the chance to talk to you tonight, Chris. So thanks for setting that up, man. I really do appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for having me. It's always fun. And like I said, it was cool meeting you at the original con, and figured why not come chat for a bit.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I'll definitely talk to you soon, Chris. So
yes.
Yeah, so I got your info now, and hopefully I'll be seeing you at another con soon too.
Hopefully. We try and be around. We'll see.
All right, Syndicate members, between the known and the unknown lies the mammoth. I'll see you next time.